Look who's back! And in school uniform. Oh yeah. And look who's got an iPod too. I just thought, first of all, I'd introduce myself. Hello, my name's Taylah, and I'd like to do this video today about introductions and telling people you have an eating disorder. Sometimes it can be quite hard to explain things like that to people because it kind of goes against everything that you're taught when you were a child. It's like breathing, you know, like people assume that people with eating disorders choose not to eat or choose to do things like, you know, choose to do things they're doing, but that would be like choosing not to breathe, really, when you think about it. So, because a lot of people can be quite judgmental, and even without necessarily meaning to, just purely because they don't understand, it can be quite daunting when you're trying to tell people that you've got an eating disorder. So, here are 5 things to do when you're introducing yourself with, hello, I'm Taylah, and I have an eating disorder. Number 1. Try not to overthink it too much. The more you think it, the more you're going to either not tell them, and the chances are, if you are telling them, there's probably someone that needs to know. I wouldn't recommend just telling everyone willy-nilly because, you know, it's your business, it's private. So try not to overthink it, because the more you think about it, the more you're going to think of reasons and ways in which not to tell someone. And if they need to know, they need to know. Number 2. Don't be ashamed. Everyone has things that, you know, they'd rather not tell people. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. You know, it is a psychiatric illness. And a lot of people suffer from depression. That's a psychiatric illness. And I know that with the word psychiatric, mental, it can seem a little bit odd or a little bit kind of scary when you're telling people, because they automatically think nutcase, when really it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just something that is in your life that you're coping with and that you deal with every day, just like any other disease or illness. Number 3. Try not to justify reasons why you have an eating disorder. A lot of the time it can be really easy to say, oh well, I do have an eating disorder, but don't worry if you didn't realise because I know I'm not that thin. Or I do have an eating disorder, but it's not that bad, so don't worry about it. A lot of the time it can, you know, those kind of things or comments kind of come out without you even thinking about it. And it's just feeding into your eating disorder, really, when you think about it. It's just kind of another way in which to put yourself down, or another way in which to say, oh, you're not that skinny, or it's not that bad, when really an eating disorder is an eating disorder, no matter how thin you are, no matter, you know, what it is that you're doing, it's an eating disorder. Number 4. Try not to take it to heart if people make comments after you've told them. Sometimes it's very easy for people to say things like, oh, but you're not that thin, or but you're looking so healthy. And sometimes those kind of comments can be quite hurtful, and even without them realising, you can kind of, because of the mindset you're already in, you can kind of twist them. So in my case, if someone ever says things like, oh, you're looking really healthy, or oh, you're like glowing, to me that's like, oh, you're looking really fat today. But obviously I know that that is my eating disorder telling me, and really that person isn't saying that at all. So try not to take these kind of comments to heart, because a lot of the time they aren't meaning to, the meaning that you are thinking isn't what they actually mean, and sometimes people don't have that kind of filtering system. They don't know what is going to offend you and they don't know what isn't, so they kind of come out with these things, and they can be quite hurtful sometimes. So just try not to take things to heart, and if it is a purposely intended hurtful comment, just ignore it and kind of brush it off, and that person is ignorant and horrible, and yeah. And finally, number 5, it's actually okay to have an eating disorder. It's part of you, and if you're working through it and you're in recovery, or if you're just kind of coasting along, and I mean that in the best, kind of, if you're not aiming for recovery and you're just kind of coasting, then, it is what it is, and you are who you are, and, you have an eating disorder, and that's that, really. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it helps, because I know it can be quite difficult. So yeah, I hope everyone has a really nice time if they're going back to school. As you can see, I am going back. Oh, this is my guitar. I am back at school now. It's my first day today, and yeah, I was really nervous because obviously I haven't been at school since February, and I'm retaking my year. I'm retaking year 12, and everyone has kind of seemed to be a little bit, not even a little bit, they've kind of been very wary of the fact that I haven't really got better. As far as my grade disease, that really have got better, but as far as everything else is concerned, if anything, I've got worse. People are very concerned about me coming back to school, and they're very worried about the fact that I won't be able to finish this year either. But we're going to see how it goes, and we're going to try, because I want to do well in school, and I want to go to a good uni, and I want to succeed with my life, and in my eyes I need a good education for that, and while I have a good education available to me, I want to seize the opportunity, and I'm not saying that I've had, it's made me have some kind of revelation in recovery or anything like that. It hasn't at all, but I'm going to try hard to stay at school, work-wise. So yeah, I hope everyone's really well, and I hope everyone has a lovely summer, and is looking forward to a wonderful autumn and winter, and yeah, I hope everyone's well. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed my first video on the Taylah channel, woo! And finally my iPod, I've got it all back, and it's nice, and it's all working, so yay! So yeah, I love you all.